What up, world? So I just saw Dumb and Dumber 2, T.O., not T.W.O., not T.O.O., T.O., the two that makes the least amount of sense. Um, it stars Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels, Rob Riggle, Laurie Holden, and it's directed by the Farrelly brothers. If you unfamiliar with their work, man, they directed the original Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, Osmosis Jones, Stuck on You, Shallow Hal, Fever Pitch, The Heartbreak Kid, Hall Pass, and The Three Stooges. I think that they were like the main um, brain. They were like the main creators of movie 43. So man, you see where their career trajectory has went. You got Harry and Lloyd. They're back. The trailers show that Jim Carrey has been in the mental institution, or he's been like a hospital basically for 20 years, ever since the last movie ended, and it was all a prank. Um, and the question is, does it live up? Does it do justice? Does it hold a candle to the original? No, it doesn't. Um, when I saw the trailers, man, I knew that this wasn't gonna be the same type of style, the same delivery, the same effect as the first movie. Dumb and Dumber came out in 1994. At the end of 1994, after Jim Carrey had already taken the world by storm with the first Ace Ventura and with The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber was just a phenom. You know what I mean? Um, and then Jeff Daniels at the time, who had been in like Speed and Arachnophobia, he was just as funny. And one thing was, I know in the first movie they see the name on the briefcase, which is the brand of the briefcase, and they say they think the chick's name is Mary Samsonite. And then they find out her real name, but then they still call her Mary Samsonite in the trailers for this movie. And that was one thing. Like it's like a minor detail. Like you can claim, oh, well, they're so dumb that they just remember this name. Nah, like I just that was lazy to me that they didn't put the original name in. Like for the rest of the story, it's you can call it like a rehash of the first movie, really, because um, Jeff Daniels' character needs a kidney, and he had a kid with Kathleen Turner, who played Freda Felcher, who they both like it was alluded to that they had both like smashed in the original movie, before the movie took place. And so they both go see her, and then it leads to them going on a road trip to track down Jeff Daniels' daughter. Um, and then Rob Riggle is with them, and Laurie Holden, the most annoying character from The Walking Dead, is damn near one of the most annoying characters from both Dumb and Dumber movies combined. Um, and like they use like some of the same stuff, man. The kid with the bird is back. The I like it a lot joke. Like, but they use some of the same jokes as the first movie. They don't hit the same. To me, man, like Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey, like they still had the chemistry, but their delivery and their performances was like they were rusty, and they didn't execute their performances the exact same way that they did in the first movie. And like that, I noticed that. And like the direction was fine, but the style of comedy that the Farrelly brothers like to do, it doesn't translate 20 years later. Like I was talking to some people about this movie and about their movies in general, man, and it's like they started at Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, Something About Mary, Shallow Hal, Stuck on You, and then like at the top of their pyramid is Fever Pitch, and that's like a straight romantic comedy, right? And then The Heartbreak Kid, Hall Pass, The Three Stooges, they're all hit or miss. At least The Heartbreak Kid and Hall Pass, they're hit or miss. Some people like them, think they're okay, and some people think they're trash. And then I haven't seen The Three Stooges, but based on the previews, I thought it looked trash, so I never even saw it. And based on the previews to this, I thought it looked more Three Stooges than original Dumb and Dumber. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. There are a few gags, there are a few jokes, there are a few lines that had me laughing my ass off. But like, it's a sequel, man, so you can't help to compare it. Like, I compared it basically to the original movie. I compared it to the other comedies I've seen this year, and I compared it to Anchorman 2 as far as it's a sequel to a beloved original that is, you know what I'm saying, 10 plus years old. And as far as comparison to the first movie, man, the first movie had a better story. It had better execution, better pacing, better supporting characters, way better laughs, as far as like a lot of the laughs in Dumb and Dumber 2 were like mispronunciation of words, were like phrases that weren't said properly. And I mean that, like, for the legend that the first Dumb and Dumber is, I feel like that's a lazy way to execute your comedy for the sequel. As far as like other comedies of this year, I would say every other comedy I've seen this year, for example, Neighbors, 22 Jump Street, are way funnier than this. Tammy is worse than this. Let's Be Cops is like the perfect example. Like, the previews made Let's Be Cops look funny as fuck, but it wasn't that funny. It had some good ass laughs, and overall it was a good movie. This has some good laughs. The story is watchable, and it's not as funny as you hope it's gonna be. And like, I mean, what comedies come out the rest of the year? Horrible Bosses 2 and The Interview both look funnier than this turned out to be. And then Anchorman 2. While it wasn't as good as the first Anchorman, it was still really funny. And this is okay. So I mean, like, I would love to see Jim Carrey do more straight comedies. I hope that he's not gonna turn into Stallone and Schwarzenegger and start doing sequels to his earlier stuff that put him on. Like, if you're gonna do Ace Ventura 3, man, make sure that movie is, without a shadow of a doubt, some of the funniest shit you ever read. The Mask 2. I heard that he was down to do a sequel to The Mask and Bruce Almighty. So, man, like, I've rambled on, man. I hope that y'all feel what I'm saying. Like, I went in and I wanted really, really funny, man, and I got a couple laughs and a watchable movie that could have been better. And like I said, like, I put a lot of this shit on the Farrelly brothers, and I just don't think their comedy holds up 20 years later. So in my opinion, man, Dumb and Dumber 2 is straight. You know, I wanted dope, but I just couldn't get it to dope, so it's straight. Maybe I'm being too hard on it, man. Tell me what y'all thought. What did y'all think of Dumb and Dumber 2? Do you like the first one? If you don't like it, I can't fuck with you. And on my Facebook movie page, I'm gonna ask y'all the same thing. Just like I did with Interstellar, ranking Christopher Nolan movies, rank the Farrelly brothers movies. Like I rambled them off at the beginning of the video. Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, Shallow Hal, Osmosis Jones, Stuck on You, Fever Pitch, The Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller, Hall Pass, and The Three Stooges, and include Dumb and Dumber 2 if you've seen it. And then, as far as Jim Carrey movies, man, what's your favorite Jim Carrey comedy? Movies I want to see over the next couple weeks are The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1. I think everybody and their mama, grandmama, next door neighbor, pet are going to go see that shit. Horrible Bosses 2 is coming out. The Penguins of Madagascar is coming out. And I think that'll be it as far as November, man. Peace.